Assalamu alaikum and hello everyone. Welcome to Mathematics with Shahab Yakoob. So now we are starting with AS level math, and in AS level maths we study pure math P1, and then some people they study starts S1, and I think that's the majority of the people. It's better to study starts in the first year, and then some people they study mechanics, especially in some parts of Pakistan. They kind of make it compulsory for the student to study mechanics. So now let's talk about this thing. What is pure maths? What is mechanics? And so on. So pure maths, this is like algebra based thing. This is pure maths is P1. This is paper 1. And the variant that we give, the syllabus code is 9709, and we give the variant 12. Now, there are 8 topics in this one. The first one is coordinate geometry. And there are 2 subtopics in it. The first one is a line, the second one is a circle. Then there is circular measure. Then there is trigonometry. Then it's series. There are 3 subtopics in it. It's about arithmetic progression. It's about geometric progression. It's about binomial expansion. Then we can talk about this thing, which is about quadratics. So we can talk about quadratics. We can talk about functions. We can talk about differentiation. And we can talk about integration. So these are the main topics over here. 8 topics. Let me label it. So now this is 1, 2, 3, 4, then 5, 6, 7, and 8. These are the 8 major topics. Now, mostly people, this study starts in the first year. So let me focus on statistics. Statistics S1. There are 5 topics over here. You can say the first one is probability. The next one is something called DRV, probability distribution. Then there is perms and coms. The fourth one is what you call normal distribution. And the fifth one is representation of data. So these are the 5 topics over here. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now what happens in that? In AS level maths, in AS level, people study P1 and S1 in the first year. And in A2 level, then you have 2 choices. You can either study P3 and M1, or you can study P3 and S2. So now over here, this is S1, this is P1, this is P3, and then this is M1, and then this is S2. So that is why it's better to study S1 in the first year, because you have 2 choices for the second year. If some people study M1 in the first year, they can only do S1 in the second year. This choice is gone. This is the easiest of all. So that is why I teach most people S1 in the first year. That is easy. Now, when we talk about the paper structure in AS level maths, there is P1, a 75 mark paper. And the 75 mark paper, the time limit is 1 hour 50 minutes, 110 minutes. You can say 110 minutes, and you have to score 75 marks. That's the maximum possible mark. S1, the paper is for 50 mark, and it's for 1 hour 15 minutes. This is for 75 minutes. Now look at the marks. This is 75. This is 50. So when we talk about P1, when we talk about S1, it's 75 is to 50. That's in a ratio of 3 is to 2. This is 60%. This is 40%. That is the weightage. The marks themselves are the weightage. So 60% belongs to P1, 40% belongs to S1. Now let's talk about P1, the very first topic that I'll get started today. And I get started right away because there is not much time to waste. We have to do a long, long syllabus. So now someone asked this question, is M1 of the same weightage as S1? The answer is yes. So now we are starting with lecture 1. And of course, about the syllabus, we can talk about it later. You can ask me on the WhatsApp and so on. So we are starting with coordinate geometry. And I label coordinate geometry as CG, coordinate geometry. So this is the first lecture. Now this chapter has association with O-level maths. So now what are the things that we have studied in coordinate geometry? We talked about distance between 2 points. We can talk about midpoint. We can talk about slope, inclination, gradient. We can talk about equation of line. We can talk about parallel lines, perpendicular lines. We can talk about some intersection, line intersecting with x-axis, line intersecting with y-axis. We can talk about sketches of these things. And then something to do with parallelograms. This would be new. That would be coming at the end. We can talk about area also. So these are the different things that we talk about. Now let's talk about this thing, which is the concept of the distance formula. So this is a point A. This is x1, y1. This is a point B. The coordinates are x2 and y2. And let's talk about this. And let's talk about this way. So now if this is a right angle triangle, the x coordinate is x1, the x coordinate is x2, therefore the base is x2 minus x1. The height is y2, the height is y1, the height is the difference between y2 and y1. So this is y2, this is y1. Similarly, this is x1, this is x2. So therefore, the height, that is y2 minus y1. Do you agree? So now just acknowledge on the WhatsApp. If this is all good, just put a tick mark over there. And naturally, inshallah, I'll be forming a group and we can do the working later on that group. But right now, you can message me individually. So this is y2, this is y1. The difference is the height. This is x2, this is x1. The difference is the base. Okay. So now if this is the distance over here, so they are related by Pythagoras theorem, the distance, that is base square plus height square. This distance is technically the hypotenuse. So this is the hypotenuse. So basically, I'm doing the application of Pythagoras theorem. So this distance is base is x2 minus x1 whole square. This is y2 minus y1 whole square. This is d square. So therefore, d is equals to x2 minus x1 whole square. This is y2 minus y1 whole square, the whole thing under root. That's how the distance formula is created. So distance formula is created from Pythagoras theorem. Got the idea? So this is the distance formula, distance between 2 points. Distance between 2 points is the same thing as length of line segment AB. That is the same thing. Okay. So now what else can we do? Let's talk about the midpoint formula. If A is x1, y1, B is x2, y2, then the midpoint M is the midpoint of x, A and B. So the midpoint M would be the average of the x coordinates, the average of the y coordinates. So remember the word average. That will keep things in the right perspective. So we take the x coordinate, we add them up, divided by 2. We take the y coordinate, we add them up, we divide by 2. So that is the concept of midpoint. So now midpoint is done. And this distance formula is also done, distance between 2 points. Let's talk about slope and gradient. So we are going in a particular order. So now if I talk about slope, gradient. So we use the symbol small m. M is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So now y2 minus y1, this is the rise, and this one is the run. So change in y over change in x. This rise is change in y. This run is change in x. And that is how you get the slope. And I'll be putting in some numbers also. When we talk about parallel lines, they have same slope, same gradient. When we talk about perpendicular lines, and I'll use this symbol for perpendicular like this, their slopes multiply out to give -1. Or if one slope is m1, the other slope is m2, so they give you -1. In other words, one slope is the negative reciprocal of the other. So remember the word negative reciprocal. Okay, that thing is done. What else? Equation of a line. Y is equals to mx plus c. So y is equals to mx plus c. So m, that stands for the slope. C, that is the y-intercept. And this is what you are getting. So now y is equals to mx plus c. This thing is there. Now also let's talk about this thing. Line meets x-axis. That means y coordinate is 0. Line meets y-axis. Therefore, x coordinate is 0. Now let me also draw one thing that is over here. So this is the x-axis. This is the y-axis. No, not this one. Okay. So now over here, this is the y-axis. This is the x-axis. The equation of x-axis is y is equals to 0 because all along the line, the y coordinate is 0. Equation of y-axis is x is equals to 0 because all along the line, the x coordinate is 0. So therefore, when a line meets the x-axis, y coordinate is 0. When a line meets the y-axis, x coordinate is 0. Got the idea? So now, what else is there? I'm just going through the basic concepts first, then we will go to the questions. Parallel, perpendicular, intersection, we will talk about it in a short while. So now let's talk about some sketches. When we draw this grid over here, and let me just draw a small grid like this. Let me just copy it. Okay. Okay, now let me draw a few lines over here. First of all, if I draw, let me make it a little bit thicker. If I draw a line like this, it's very thick. Okay, the line is drawn like this, the line is drawn like this. Let me draw a line like this, let me draw a line like this. And then let me draw a line like this and a line like this. Now there are 6 possible lines that I've drawn, and I'm focusing on different kinds of sketches. Sketches of straight line. Now, when I talk about the sketches of straight line, this red line, it has a positive slope. This has a positive slope. This blue line over here, this has a negative slope. This has a negative slope. This line, the green line over here, this has a 0 slope. And this reddish line over here, that has an undefined slope. Now let's talk about the green line first. When the slope is 0, the equation is of the form y is equals to a constant because all along the line, the y coordinate is fixed. When the gradient is undefined, what we do is that this equation has the form x is equals to a constant. And let's talk about this a little bit more. Any 0 divided by any number is 0. So let's say I have a point C, 2, 2. I have a point D, 5, 2. What is not changing? The y coordinate is not changing. The y coordinate is not changing. So if I calculate the gradient of CD, that is 2 minus 2 over 2 minus 5, which is 0 over negative 3, which is 0. So that falls into this category. Got the idea? Because there is no change in y, therefore the gradient is 0. So line parallel to x-axis, therefore y coordinate is unchanged. Therefore, slope is 0. And I'll give you time to copy it also. Similarly, this is the logic that I've applied over here. 0 divided by any number is 0. Okay. And then let me draw this line over here. that is over here, which is any number divided by 0. This is undefined. You cannot define it. It will give you a math error on the calculator. For example, I have a point, a Q, and a point R. The point is 1, comma 3, and this is 1, comma 7. So gradient of QR should be change in y, which is 3 minus 7 over 1 minus 1, which is negative 4 over 0, which is undefined. You cannot define it. So now over here, which coordinate is unchanged? The x coordinate remains unchanged, 1, comma 3, 1, comma 7. Let's say this is 1, comma 3, this is 1, comma 7. So we will write this thing, which is line parallel to y-axis. X coordinate is unchanged. Therefore, slope is undefined. Okay, so now let me just copy this thing, change the color. Okay, so now this is where we have reached so far. Over here, gradient is positive, and this y-intercept is also positive. Over here, gradient is positive, y-intercept is negative. Over here, gradient is positive, y-intercept is positive. Over here, gradient is negative, y-intercept positive. Over here, y-intercept negative. That means the equation could be of the form y is equals to 2x plus 3. Just compare it with y is equals to mx plus c. Gradient positive, y-intercept positive. This is for sketching purposes. Over here, y is equals to 3x minus 4. Y is equals to mx plus c. Now you can see for yourself. So see for yourself, gradient positive, y-intercept positive like this, y-intercept negative like this. Let me write two more equations. Y is equals to minus x plus 5. Y is equals to, y plus x plus 1 equals to 0. Therefore, y is negative x negative 1. Let me write y is equals to mx plus c. Let me write y is equals to mx plus c. Focus on m. M is negative. Focus on m. M is negative. Focus on c. C is positive. Focus on C. C in this case is negative. So that's how, if they ask you to sketch, you will sketch it. Y is equals to a constant. So for example, if this point is C, 2, comma 2 and 5, comma 2. So let's say if this is 2, then the equation would be y is equals to 2. And let's say if this thing is 1 over here. So therefore, the equation is x is equals to 1. So this is a, x is equals to a constant line parallel to y-axis. This is line parallel to x-axis. So now let's take 10 minutes and copy it all down so that there is not much saturation. Let me pause the recording. So now people, let's continue the journey. So we have reached this stage. Let's move on. So now let's do a simple question. The first worked example. The line x plus 2y equals to 10 meets the x-axis at A and y-axis at B. Part 1, find the coordinates of A and B. Part B or part 2, find area of triangle OAB, where O is the origin. I'll just pause for Azan. So now let's look at this question. Find the coordinates of A and B, find the area of triangle OAB, and then I'll add a third part also. So now this thing. Let's get started. X plus 2y is equals to 10. So let me draw a grid over here. This is the y-axis. This is the x-axis. I'll just draw a rough sketch. But before that, if I say x plus 2y is equals to 10, line meets x-axis, y coordinate is 0. Line meets y-axis, x coordinate is 0. X-axis y is 0, y-axis x is 0. So therefore, x plus 2y is equals to 10. X plus 2y equals to 10. When it meets x-axis, y is 0, y is 0, therefore x is 10. Therefore, the coordinate of A is 10, 0. When it meets y-axis, therefore x is 0, therefore x is 0. So 2y is equals to 10, y is equals to 5. Therefore, the coordinates of B is 0, 0, 5. So 0, 5, 10, 0. So let me draw this line. 10, 0 and this thing. So the line goes like this. So this is 0, 5. A is, it meets x-axis at A. It meets x-axis at A. So this one is B actually. So this is B, 0, 5. B is 0, 5 and this is A. This is 10, 0. And this is the origin over here. It's a right angle triangle. That is the y-axis. That is the x-axis. Now the second part, find the area of triangle OAB. So area of triangle OAB, second part, that is area of triangle OAB. That's half base into height. That is half into 10 into 5, which is 25 units square or square units. You can write it like this. You can write it like this. So 25 units square or square units. Now let me talk about something else. The third part. Find equation of a line perpendicular to AB and passing through origin. So let me draw a strip over here. This is the question. This is the answers. This is part 1. That is the sketch and part 2. And now let me work on part 3. So let me grab this grid over here. Let me make it smaller. Acha ji. So now I need the equation of a line perpendicular to this. Let me draw this orange line, this reddish kind of a line, and something like this. Not exactly like this. Okay. So this is the line. It's passing through origin and it's perpendicular to AB. Now, x plus 2y is equals to 10. 2y is equals to negative x plus 10. Y is equals to negative half x plus 10 over 2. This is the line AB. So gradient y is equals to mx plus c. Therefore, the gradient is negative half. So the gradient of the green line, that is this line, this is negative half. Therefore, the gradient of this line should be, the perpendicular line should be positive 2. Because of the thing, negative reciprocal. Okay, because of this. It's passing through the origin. So equation of line perpendicular to AB. So gradient is positive 2, y-intercept is 0. It's passing through origin. Y is equals to 2x. Now I would like you to acknowledge, is this concept all good, all clear? So is this all good, all clear? Please acknowledge. Okay, Ji, that's good. Let's move on. Now let me add a fourth part. So part 4, find the point of intersection of the two lines. So always remember, whenever they ask for point of intersection, that means simultaneous equations. Simultaneous equation. So now in part 4, I have the line y is equals to 2x. I have the line x plus 2y equals to 10. When I solve simultaneously, I'll pick this 2x, I'll replace it with over here. So x plus 2 times 2x is equals to 10. 5x is equals to 10. X comes out to be 2. It lies on this line. You can plug in anyone. If I plug it in over here, of course, I'll get the same answer. That's common sense, but it's good to emphasize this. So y is equals to 2 times 2, which is 4. And this is 2 plus 2y is equals to 10. 2y is equals to 8. Therefore, y comes out to be 4. Therefore, the coordinates, that means both x and y, of point of intersection, that is 2, 4. All good, all clear? Now, what else can I ask? I can ask part 5. Find the shortest distance from origin to the line AB. So now over here, this is O, this is A, this is B, let's call it C. The shortest distance is the perpendicular distance. So the shortest distance is the perpendicular distance, which in this case is OC. Got the idea? We have already done the working. So if they would have asked for part 5 directly, we have to do all this working. So now O is 0, 0. C is 2, 4. OC magnitude distance formula, that is 0 minus 2 whole square. This is 0 minus 4 whole square, square root. That is 4, that is 16 square root, that is square root of 20, which can also be written as square root 5 into 4. That is square root 4, square root 5. That can also be written as 2 root 5 units. So now, so far, so good. So now, is this all good? Is the distance all good, all clear? Acha ji. So that is where we reached so far. Now, what else can be done? There are many other things that can be done, but let's recap what we have done today. Let's go all the way to the top. We talked about distance between 2 points. We talked about midpoint. We talked about slope and gradient. We talked about equation of a line, y is equals to mx plus c. We talked about parallel lines. We talked about perpendicular lines. We talked about intersection. We talked about sketches. We also talked about area of a triangle based upon a sketch. And let me talk about one other thing. Now, someone asked part 5, dobara samjha de. It says find the shortest distance from origin to the line AB. Shortest distance is the perpendicular distance. So we have found the equation of this line. We found the point of intersection. So the shortest distance from O to this line is the distance OC. Since we already know the coordinate of O, we already know the coordinate of C, we found this distance. That is how this thing is obtained, and this is using the concept of surds. Now, someone can say that can we do part 5 in a different manner? So now, part 5, the shortest distance, can this be found in some alternative way? The answer is yes. For that, I need this knowledge that if this triangle is like this, and this thing is the base, this thing is the height, and if I take this as the base, this as the height, right angle, so area is half into base into height. We know this knowledge. Now, in the same triangle, let me draw a purple line like this. So let me draw a thick purple line like this. Let me copy this image, the whole thing. Let me make a copy. Let me paste it. And let me just rotate it like this. Okay. So now look at this. Let me remove this thing, or not the whole thing, my bad. Let me remove this B over here. Let me remove this thing over here. And over here, this thing over here, that is the small d. This thing is the small d. This is right angle. This is right angle. This is small d. It's not drawn to scale. So if I consider this hypotenuse to be the base, then small d could be the height for the same triangle. So therefore, this area can also be half into d into the hypotenuse, which can serve as the base. Got the idea? Now over here, this triangle, this is 5, this is 10. I found the area that's right over here. Now I can consider this as the height and this thing as the base. So now AB, A is 10, 0. B is 0, 5. AB magnitude, that is 10 minus 0 whole square. This is 0 minus 5 whole square, square root. That is 100, that is 25. This is square root of 125. Leave it as it is, units. So now half into the distance d into square root of 125, that is equals to 25. That's the area of the triangle. So this is half, and d as it is. Square root of 125 is 25 into 5 square root. That is 25. That is half into d into square root of 25. Square root of 5 is 25. This is d is equals to 25 into 2 divided by root 25, root 5. That is equals to 25. This is 2. This is 5. This is root 5. That is equals to 5 into 2, which is 10. So this is 5 ones are 5 fives are 5 into 2. That is 10 over here. So this is 10 over root 5. Now rationalize root 5, root 5. So therefore, this is 10 root 5 over 5. which is 2 root 5, which is the same answer as you found very early on, the shortest distance where it is. This thing over here, area of triangle, point of intersection, and this shortest distance, that's right over here. So this thing, the shortest distance from origin to this thing, that is found in an alternative way. So that's where I'll stop lecture number 1. Make a new notebook, a new beginning of AS level maths, a winning mindset that yes, I can do it, I can achieve an A. There is no A star in AS level, in an A star in A2. Overall, yes, that is the mindset, and I have to start working from day 1. So this is day 1. Let's get started. See you in the next class.